I'm Ibrahim Khan, and
I'm Emin Raja.
this is our review of.
Superstar, Mahira Khan and Bilal.
So, Emin, having watched it the first time, what did you think?
खैर पहली बात तो ये कि पाकिस्तानी कंटेंट देखते हुए पहले आपसे मैंने कहा मैंने स्ट्रॉन्ग स्टेटमेंट से आपने स्टार्ट किया मेरी एक्सपेक्टेशंस के खास हाई नहीं होती जिनको कि मैं रखूँ कि ये बेंचमार्क एंड यू नो इट्स सॉर्ट ऑफ फेल्ड बट विद सुपरस्टार पर्टिकुलरली अभी पहले भी मैं आपसे डिस्कस कर थी फर्स्ट हाफ आई एब्सोल्युटली हेटेड इट आई थिंक इट वाज सो रश्ड थ्रू कि मुझे समझ नहीं आ रही थी कि हो क्या रहा है और दूसरा स्पेसिफिकली बिकॉज विद सुपरस्टार आई गेस द मेन थीम वाज टू हाईलाइट स्ट्रगल्स ऑफ यू नो एक स्ट्रगलिंग एम्बिशियस एक्ट्रेस हैं तो आई थिंक दैट काइंड ऑफ पार्ट वाज ओवरलुक्ड इन द फर्स्ट हाफ पर्टिकुलरली इट वाज जस्ट लाइक सो फास्ट और समझ नहीं आ रहा था हो क्या रहा है तो
That's an interesting place to start. So the story, the script felt like it had been written in a rush by people who weren't writers. Dialogues बहुत कच्चे
ह्यूमर वाज वेरी बोरिंग बहुत बहुत बोरिंग जोक्स थे
और ह्यूमर कहीं भी आ जाता है like you know there's the film it's gone to like a really dark place or somewhere and all of a sudden there's a goofy scene. The stakes aren't that high मतलब इतनी कोई इनके करियर की बात हो रही है जब शुरू होता है तो we see Mahira who's supposed to be
very ambitious or
a struggling actor who's doing commercials and it reminded me there's this film Gajini जिसमें you know the lead the female protagonist is somebody who does these cable ads हमारी कोई branches नहीं है तो I felt कि you know उस तरह की मुझे vibes आई लेकिन फिर the dialogues were almost placeholders कि यहाँ पे एक joke आएगा
exactly
और फिर nobody worked then towards
तो
finding
जिस तरीके की वो आई थिंक कि वो जिस जब सुपरस्टार मैंने जब स्टोरी सुनी या तो आई जस्ट एक्सपेक्टेड माहिरा टू बी यू नो display a very passionate character कि मतलब उसमें you know a lot of emotions a lot of passion a lot of fire to just do something I just found her entire acting very bland और बिल्कुल एक ही उसमें चल रही कुछ समझ नहीं आ रही अभी क्या हो रहा है like and same with Bilal Ashraf honestly
But what do you think about her character मतलब did it make sense to you कि वो क्या चाहती है और क्यों like what is
As I said कि बहुत मुश्किल था because it was just like one tone वाला scene कि बिल्कुल ही एक तरह से स्टार्ट में भी वो माहिरा देयर वाज जस्ट नो इमोशंस देयर और बिलाल के साथ भी यही आई थिंक बिलाल को पर्टिकुलरली कास्ट में इंक्लूड ही उनकी फिजिकल वो जाहिर बात है कि उनकी स्पेसिफिक फिजिक एंड एवरीथिंग बट स्टिल आई जस्ट डिडंट शुरू से लेकर आखिर तक एक जैसे ही है एक्सप्रेशंस एक जैसे एवरीथिंग इज जस्ट द सेम तो आई जस्ट डिडंट enjoy watching him as well.
Mahira, in the beginning, there's a little monologue of you know people coming into the city to struggle and वो लोग stars बनना चाहते हैं लेकिन Mahira says कि you know मैं अदाकार हूँ star नहीं ऐसे so that kind of and then you also see like that it opens with that tamasha
exactly.
kind of you know that like it sort of reminds you of the opening of Tamasha. I just sort of like I sweat a lot every time I see that, you know, that sequence of Mahira trying to play different characters, because you can see the discomfort in her eyes, and you also.
It's very awkward.
You also.
It's very, very awkward.
मतलब काफी आपको खुद शर्म सी आ रही होती है देखते हो.
Second hand embarrassment.
So you know, but she's supposed to be this like you know someone who's so trained in the art of theater कि उसके घर की
और वो आई थिंक एक पर्टिकुलर सीन ही है जहाँ पे वो इतने ज़्यादा दिखा रहे हैं उनको ना कि मतलब she is like someone who's very versatile and everything.
अच्छा that scene comes a lot later.
Exactly.
But शुरू में तमाशा की तरह they give us. You've seen तमाशा या इम्तियाज़
No,
अली?
no, I haven't.
So there's this Imtiaz Ali film called Tamasha with Ranbir Kapoor and Deepika Padukone, and it starts with sort of like a very absurdist theater piece where he's a robot and she's a jester. And that's sort of like a theme for the whole film that they set up, and the director's also speaking through them, where Deepika Padukone's character says, or the character that her character is playing, says to the audience कि you know ये बहुत दिल से बनाया है यार तो थोड़ा you know so there's like that kind of woe to it. यहाँ पे एक तो इट्स नॉट क्लियर कि ये लड़की जो है इसकी मोटिवेशंस क्या हैं मतलब शी वांट्स टू बी शी इज टॉकिंग अबाउट बीइंग एन एक्टर लाइक शी इज सपोज्ड टू बी अ रियली गुड एक्टर व्हिच यू नो हम इतना देखते नहीं
एग्जैक्टली
फिर वो स्ट्रगलर है लेकिन हर हेयर इज मतलब व्हाट इज जब आप उसको देखते हैं शी इज दिस वेरी वेल ग्रूम्ड टॉल character but she plays like this struggler that nobody is noticing she doesn't look like it
एग्जैक्टली
अगर उसके हेयर भी इतना ऑन पॉइंट है और सब कुछ है वो यूं पता नहीं शेफॉन के दुपट्टे में यूं करके मोड़ी
माहिरा
होती
स्टनिंग को कुछ भी पहन ले अच्छी लगती है
but then you know apparently nobody sees her and so that's hard to buy and it's also घर में ऐसा जिसको कोई इतनी प्रॉब्लम्स नहीं है द मदर वांट्स हर टू गेट
एग्जैक्टली हाँ मैं भी ये कहती कि जिसे दिखाने की कोशिश की हुई है कि यू नो और जहाँ पे उन्हें बार बार ये कहना पड़ रहा है कि हमारा मोहल्ला ऐसा हमारा घर है जस्ट डोंट सी इट देयर
एक तो उस मोहल्ले में कोई है नहीं
एग्जैक्टली
there's nobody क्योंकि when she comes out of the house तो they don't
द
even
हाउस इज वेरी प्रीटी दो
it's वो कौन सी हवेली है ये पेशावर में है
बट
बेसिकली
वो बीच में जब अलीजे जस्ट लाइक सेज इट कि वहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं होता ऐसा नहीं होता देन आई काइंड ऑफ गेट अच्छा ये करना चाह रहे हैं ये शो उससे पहले नहीं समझ आती आपको
और वो जो है वो इट लुक्स लाइक अ सेट इट्स आई थिंक अब मुझे भूल रहा है कि वो कौन सी हवेली है पेशावर में है विच इज़ वेयर दे शॉट दिस लेकिन जब वो गाड़ी वहाँ पे आती है तो यू वंडर हाउ दैट कार गॉट इन देयर बिकॉज ऑल यू कैन सी इज अदर हाउसेज इन द बैक and then the way that it's lit in the middle of the night and and they're usually not even whispering outside when her friend comes to tell her ke wo hai which I mean you could have called but he shows up at her door and then she says aista bolo and then the two of them are you know speaking as loudly और ये भी नहीं कि उसको घर के अंदर मतलब दरवाजे के पास बुला ले नहीं
मतलब अपनी जब when she is talking to her friend कि मुझे एक्टर वो बनना है और सब कुछ तो उसमें भी आई जस्ट डोंट सी एनी इमोशंस देयर इट्स जस्ट सो ब्लैंड इट्स पेनफुल मतलब बिल्कुल एक जैसा एक ही तरह से इट वाज अ स्ट्रगल टू वॉच
मतलब अपेरेंटली आगा जान ने इसको इनकरेज किया है और इसको आर्ट में वो किया लेकिन उसका बड़ा शैलो सा ड्रीम है कि मैंने स्टार बनना है मैंने उस बिलबोर्ड के ऊपर आना है दैट्स ऑल दैट शी केयर्स अबाउट एंड ऑनेस्टली दैट्स एक तो इट्स माहिरा खान द स्टार ऑलरेडी सेइंग दोज लाइन्स and she is looking like Mahira Khan, the star. And then in terms of the character, the screenplay doesn't give you sort of any reasons to root for her, कि हाँ नहीं ये ज़रूरी है, we want her to see this. Because already her hair is in place. If she was a little frumpy and you know, if we could see, or if she seemed poor, मतलब her house is just sprawling, right?
Exactly.
Stunning. They don't look like they have a lot to ask for. And then there's Agha Jan, Agha Jan is very liberal. He's taking them out to movies late at night और वो जब वहाँ पे वो supposedly sexy dance नंबर चल रहा है तो वो इन दोनों के बीच में बैठ के तालियां भी बजा रहे हैं फिर अब्बा जो हैं वो भी like he is also really chill अम्मा भी बेचारी थोड़ी सी न्यूरोटिक है बट यू नो वो कौन सा
सेम टाइम उनका भी जिस तरीके से कैरेक्टर डिस्प्ले के लग नहीं रहा उन्हें मसला है कोई जस्ट फील्स लाइक कि बस पता नहीं
वो बस खिड़की में खड़ी होके बातें कभी खिड़की में कभी बालकनी में से आके वो कर रही होती है सो यू डोंट रियली there's no dimension to it it's just Mahira Khan you know hair perfectly constantly in place you know pretending to be I'm not even sure if it's bad casting or if it's like a badly written character or both
yeah what do you think about Bilal Ashraf though Mahira को तो आपने काफी डिस्कस किया
यार अच्छा so I'll discuss the writing aspect of it first and the first time I saw the film I noticed this the first time we see Bilal is it the when these girls go to the movies and he you know starts showing off his specs and whatnot the first thing that you establish about Bilal's character Samir Khan is that he is a superstar he has this film out Sahara and मतलब लोग मर रहे हैं and honestly I saw it Cinepax में पिंडी में और वहाँ पे actually audience पागल हो रही थी जब
really?
हाँ he had that people
Bilal is good looking I guess
the Pakistani audience like you know the boys are hooting and whistling and everything like so I was like okay you know this is interesting
but also पिंडी वाले find fun in everything so
हाँ पर मतलब they got behind him ना वो उसको भी क्या कहते हैं जुमले कस सकते थे लेकिन they were with him the moment he arrived but so he's this huge star and then वो जब नाश्ते की टेबल पे आता है तो बाप से उसको झाड़ ऐसे पड़ती है
I was
जैसे वो
going to say the exact
मैट्रिक का
same thing.
स्टूडेंट हो कि तुम
और
किस
फिर
चीज़ में
हाँ,
लगे
वो कह
हो।
रहे हैं कि मैंने ये करना है और उसके अब्बा कह रहे हैं नहीं ये नहीं, ये करो।
आपको पता है इस हफ्ते मेरी फिल्म रिलीज हुई है
It was so
और वो
weird.
हिट है। मतलब अच्छा, द मदर सपोजिटली यू नो ऑन हर डेथ बेड शी सेज कि ये हम दोनों की मैं लाइक, सो शी वाज एन एक्ट्रेस, इट्स हर ड्रीम, शी आल्सो डजंट नो ही हैज अ फिल्म आउट
With a surprise.
एंड दे मतलब
Very good, बस that's it.
आई थिंक ही इज़ लाइक पाकिस्तान के सुपरस्टार्स। मैंने सुना है फहद मुस्तफ़ा कहते हैं कि मैं और महविश और हम सारे जो हैं हम लोग फ्री में करते हैं फिल्में, लाइक वी यू नो वी आर वेरी कोऑपरेटिव एंड सो वी डोंट मेक आवर मनी फ्रॉम फिल्म। तो आई थिंक बिलाल इज शोन टू बी दैट काइंड ऑफ सुपरस्टार कि वो है लेकिन वो पैसे नहीं आ रहे हैं, तो इसलिए द फादर इज लाइक व्हाट आर यू डूइंग, यू कीप डूइंग मूवीज एंड यू आर पेनिंग। जिस तरह उसकी बेइज्जती हो रही होती है वो ऐसी होती है जैसे समवन हु इज वो। सो दैट you know that's where the inconsistency in that character starts. Kecha, he's a star, and then the other inconsistency in this character is ke, you know, he's a really lovable guy, like he's just someone who's just kind to everyone. When Noori, when the first time that he meets her on set, so you know when they want to fire her, you know, he takes a stand for her. He gives his watch to the makeup guy, like he gives his coffee to the sweeper. Like he's a really lovable guy. But he disappears on the first day of his film shoot, doesn't tell his girlfriend, leaves his friend a voice note. Matlab it's just bad writing. You're asking about the character. It's just, you know, it's not consistent at all.
But at the same time, बिलाल का जो मैं ये बेसिकली पूछ रही थी कि माहिरा को तो यू नो वी डिस्कसिंग इट वाज वेरी ब्लैंड और समझ नहीं आ रहा कि वो एक ही टोन में चल रही हैं, चाहे वो पहले वो थिएटर में उनका दिखाया हुआ है या एंड पे दिखाया हुआ है, यू नो जस्ट माहिरा इज द सेम एवरीवेयर। स्टार बनने से पहले भी एक जैसी लग रही है, बाद में भी एक जैसी लग रही है। आई वाज जस्ट आस्किंग कि बिलाल की जो just the way he is there and the way that he is sort of delivering the character, what do you feel about that?
Bilal is so interesting in that he's definitely likable. That right off the bat. He has this goofiness about him that also sort of makes you smile when he's being goofy. But it's not always appropriate to the moment. Like Shuru mein when his father gets upset with him, so you know first he says his line with while he's ये हमारे जो मेल प्रोटैगनिस्ट हैं ये आई डोंट नो क्यों ये sometimes they're depicted like 5-year-olds or something. You know, he's in the bathroom, the mother's in there with him.
बात कर रहे
He doesn't know kids while he's brushing his teeth, like all of that foam is coming out and nobody can. And then when she says कि you know समझ नहीं आ रही तुम, तो then he repeats the same exact line that he said पहले. So and Bilal keeps going back to that goofy space. He ruins Noori's like you know her big break, the Harpic commercial.
मेरा क्लीनर कर देता सब कुछ साफ।
टॉयलेट पॉट से लेकर स्टॉप इट यार।
He ruins it by making faces at her. What is that about? He's supposed to be a star, right? उसका protocol देखें and he doesn't have. And then after his mother's death, and you know he is now trying to rekindle, like apologize to Noori for making that dick move, like that was dick move. He's being goofy again in that same bathroom mirror, and he arrives being goofy, and you know she puts him in his place right there. He's asking for it. मतलब एक तो इतना बड़ा आप
ब्लंडर करे
करके गए और फिर आप
you're just expecting things to
you're acting funny.
At the same time I think बिलाल का towards the end एक तो खैर ending बहुत rush थी, कुछ समझ नहीं आया दोबारा से. I just was like lost throughout the movie. लेकिन जहाँ पे वो दिखाने की कोशिश करें that he is someone who's very desperate right now, you know, he just regrets the decision
he shows up at her house. तुमने मुझे फिल्म से क्यों निकाला?
तो वो मतलब उसमें भी वो एक जैसे ही है, very chill. I just get this very बस surface पे कुछ हो रहा है और कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा.
But he also there are moments that there's one little sequence in the film that actually touched me, and it's sad because you know film is supposed to be like an emotional roller coaster, like you're supposed to feel things throughout. But the only sequence that actually had an effect on me is when it starts with that scene in the hospital when his mother is, I think, has cancer and she's being treated for it. And that moment, and then she passes away, and then when he arrives and that Asim Azhar's soundtrack kicks in, मतलब feels आती हैं उस वक्त, and then Bilal's delivery at that time, his voice breaks up a little bit as well.
जिंदगी पे तो आपका हक था, मगर उनकी लाश पे थोड़ा हक मुझे भी दे दिया.
So it's filmy, but it's, you know, it's believably, like that moment is a big emotional moment, and so there is a, you know, that performer's in there, but then there's this goofiness. I think throughout the film, एक थोड़ा सा non-serious एक वो है.
बहुत casual and just like the body language. I just, even when उनको एक बहुत बड़ा star दिखाया गया, I just didn't get it from him तब भी.
There's that press conference that he gives in India. मैं हूँ ये.
समी साहब सुना है वापस पाकिस्तान जा रहे हैं? जी 2 दिन के लिए, क्योंकि मेरे 2 दिन के डायरेक्टर ने सिर्फ 2 ही दिन ऑफ दिए हैं. Good night, God bless you, love you.
Yeah, like it's just so, मतलब it's so chill, like ऐसे जैसे he was chewing gums, got
You know,
upset.
throughout हालांकि उनको दिखाया गया पहले एक superstar, फिर he leaves, फिर वो press conference वाला scene, फिर वापस आके basically he's trying to apologize to everyone and he's just the same throughout. So that was, I think, very boring to था ही, लेकिन at the same time it was just like not enjoyable to watch.
You just feel, you get this impression कि मतलब, although it's supposed to be this big film, but it feels like it's been put together on a budget and a tight schedule,
Exactly.
and jaldi people showed up and did what they did.
जो उनका दिल भी नहीं कर रहा था खासकर.
अच्छा, story wise, did it get you at any time? Did you get involved with any character?
I really liked Elise for some reason.
Yeah.
She was just like fun to watch, or very cheerful. Shuru se, she just had the...
Absolutely. She has the character's fun and she's believable in it and has great energy, but she has she's of no consequence to the plot whatsoever.
Exactly. And I think she's the only one who I enjoyed watching it. मुझे उसको देख के, you know, you just get this really positive energy and it's fun.
You know, you probably didn't, it probably wasn't in the cut that you saw because it's a really butchered cut, but another very much shorter performance is when Saira Yusuf makes an appearance as Marina Khan's youth, you know, which is when her and Agha Jan's character, you know, they were like a collaborating team, director and actress, and also there was a relationship there. So when she passes away, he's watching back a little showreel, and Saira Yusuf appears just sort of like being, you know, Purane Zamane ki actress doing like little actressy things, and she, like, the screen just lights up. Matlab, in that, I don't know, 20 seconds, like she, you know, screen presence is a thing, like it's just something jo aap. So Saira, you know, she's done one film, and I hope that whenever she does another film, she's done two actually, and the second one was really bad. But whenever she does another film, I hope that she gets the kind of script that supports that, because
Saira is amazing.
that was magic.
She's amazing.
There's so much to talk about this film, but I want to focus on the story. So, what did you feel about the love story? So they meet, you know, he's this big star, and you know, they meet at that
And despite
commercial.
the class difference, to दिखाने की कोशिश की गई है, and you know, both of them being at completely different points in their careers. I think the chemistry was still sort of cute to watch, although उसकी कोई समझ नहीं आ रही थी. मतलब it did feel like ये थोड़ी unrealistic है, लेकिन at the same time it was nice to watch. And that is because, जैसे हमने पहले डिस्कस किया, कि Mahira already is a superstar. She, जो भी वो लोग देखते हैं, and so is Bilal. Bilal is likable. So it was just, but वही ending जो जहाँ पे they're trying to show that they're kind of making up, और सारा कुछ they're just talking through things, and just that was very rushed. मतलब एकदम से एक जगह दिखाया है Mahira का इतना stiff stance, and then you know, just like it kind of goes nowhere.
But मेरे लिए the problem start, एक तो I think you know, Bilal being into Mahira, like there's a moment on the rooftop when, you know, they're talking and, you know, he seems to be pulled towards her. So that I bought. लेकिन Mahira का जो वो शुरू में वो that really awkward thing that they decide, that's part of a sequence that happens later in the film, which is when Bilal's character and his friend Ali Kazmi's character, they go to see her perform in a theatre. And she does that bit, and then she does two other things. And usme the middle one where she's playing like a constable is actually really well done.
Exactly.
Right? The first time I'd seen the film, I'd come away thinking, okay, Mahira has really like pushed herself and
तो मैंने 2 दफा उसको पीछे करके देखे कंफर्म किया माहिरा ही है
हाँ, but she was really funny and like वो क्या कहती है मैं keep your distance. That bit is hilarious. Okay, and then the last bit that she performs is when soldiers are going to war. They're marching off to war, and she performs a monologue about peace, and that was well delivered. It wasn't outstanding, but lekin that first mooch wala character that is it a mooch wala character or is the thanedar has mooch? Ek to we've seen her interestingly do this for like her madari sequence for Manto is when she's so clearly she doesn't mind putting herself out there. And I know I think is film ke liye for the theater there's an amazing actor Sunil Shankar from Napa. I think she trained with him for those sequences, but they fall short. That playing multiple characters in the space of one time is not something that an ordinary actor can do. But the actor that performs that, like Mahira's character, Noori, who performs those characters, the rest of her performance, Noori as Noori, is also sort of like this Madhuri Dixit, Shri Devi style performance. So what sort of disturbed me a little bit, what sort of broke my suspension of disbelief was that, there's a level of acting, even as when she's playing a thanedar, that's the work of a fine actor. And then if Noori was that fine actor, then I would expect to see her as her. When I see her as herself, that would need to be a lot more believable. But it's very performative. It's flawless hair and it's moments like pointing like that, and it's all of that hang up of like 90s, 80s, 90s Bollywood that is being performed, and you don't get a sense of this
But
girl.
then again, have you ever seen Mahira in anything except that? मतलब अगर आप उनके dramas भी देखें, even when she was in this drama, सद के तुम्हारे जहाँ she's supposed to play this village girl, तो Mahira is the same जो कि आप superstar में आप पहले और बाद में देखें. So I think कि Mahira is just like, this is how you just see her हमेशा ही ऐसे है, चाहे वो जो भी role कर रही हैं. तो I think कि that is something I just expect Mahira to look like that. हमेशा. लेकिन आप मुझे ये बताएं कि अगर keeping this story aside, who do you think would have been a better fit for the role except Mahira? I don't know. अगर मैं ये देखूं कि particularly वो जिस तरीके से superstar में दिखाने की कोशिश की गई, someone who's coming from a family background that's basically financially struggling, kind of, that's what they're trying to show. I have seen this kind of range in Ikra Aziz, and particularly Ranja Kardi. I think she was phenomenal. जिस तरीके से वो दिखाया हुआ है सारा and change and everything. I really liked seeing her there. तो अगर मैं देखूं कि अगर इस तरह के कोई proper दिखाना हो कि अच्छा वो भी character उस तरह से भी अच्छा कर रही है, I really liked her there. तो maybe.
मुझे थोड़ा सा ये भी लगा the film has been directed by Mr. Ehtishamuddin, and I felt a little bit like either Mahira didn't let him direct her properly, or he wasn't comfortable. Because I think he's a fine director. He directs on TV quite a lot, but here, a director needs to have like a strong vision, and everyone else needs to fall in line with it. Sometimes a director gets hired and like there's other voices that are more powerful. And here, thoda sa, it looks like a director who showed up to work and did what he was asked to do. Because I mean, if he could have asked a couple of questions, then there's these big glaring holes in the screenplay. In Samir's character, like आपको एक हफ्ते पहले बॉलीवुड फिल्म मिली है, आपने एक लॉन्च प्रोजेक्ट अपने बेस्ट फ्रेंड डायरेक्टर और अपनी गर्लफ्रेंड के साथ वो किया है, और वो शूट पे वो यू आर लीविंग अ वॉइस नोट, दे बोथ शो अप टू द फर्स्ट डे ऑफ वर्क टू रियलाइज Why wouldn't, that's a serious conversation. You're shown as somebody who's so kind even to strangers. Why would, what that basically shows is that he does not care about these two people at all. He's just a player. That's what it comes off as. And also this happens, the interval comes pretty early in the film. Like, you haven't really gotten to know, you feel like Samir is a sweet boy, which he's supposed to be a star, and you see very little of that other than the shirtless sequence and the rickshaw wala recognizing.
And we have probably never पूरी मूवी में कहीं एक्टिंग में तो नहीं देखा उन्हें, like proper acting करते star, that's it.
Well, that shirtless sequence is what all of that goofy dancing and what.
I hated that.
That entire sequence to me was the opposite of sexy.
Exactly. It was just so hard.
They're just a little naked, publicly, and dancing around in lok virsa for whatever reason, doing like goofy steps, like, and these girls are sitting next to who is that character? Who is Agha Jan? Is he? There's a scene after the wedding gets called off where Saif Hassan's character calls him Abba Ji when he says कि वो उसकी माँ कहती है कि उसने शराब पी के बिल्ली चुरा ली, तो नदीम बेग's character says thank you. सैफ हसन कैरेक्टर says कि अब्बा जी का सेंस ऑफ ह्यूमर जो है वो सोने के भाव की डॉलर की तरह चल रहा है, which is a thing that he references quite a lot for some reason.
Like, humor was one of the weakest things there. I was like, what?
So that's supposed to be Mahira's grandfather.
नहीं समझ आई मुझे.
It's not even clear कि अच्छा माहिरा जो है ये कोई adopted है या इनकी, मतलब कुछ थोड़ा सा बंदे को confusion होती है, right? Like, is this one nuclear family or? But apparently he's Mahira, and Aliza and Mahira are sisters, and he's Mahira's dada. He's their dada. Although मुझे
ताया लगा था.
That's what it, because the ages are such that you feel like he's their taya, but he says Abba ji ka sense of humor, right? So that would mean that Mahira's dada was in love with Nouri's dada was in love with Samir's mother, which is a very awkward kind of
dynamic बहुत अच्छी
angle. And the other thing is, this whole if we look at the themes in the film, there's a lot of like going to India and this and that. Now, this film was produced by Azaan Sami Khan, who's Adnan Sami Khan and Zeba Bakhtiar's son. Sorry, and both Zeba Bakhtiar and Adnan Sami Khan have crossed over to have careers in Bollywood. So it seems, and I don't know how much of a role he had to play in.
माहिरा खुद भी तो, मतलब I just didn't, मतलब मुझे समझ नहीं आया कि उसको इतना नेगेटिवली क्यों दिखाया गया कि वो टॉन्ट्स मार रहे उसको कि तुम चले गए.
Because of the way that he
पाकिस्तान है,
went.
इंडिया नहीं.
अच्छा, वो भी बड़ा awkward सब वो है, लेकिन ये एक meta angle है इसके अंदर, and Marina Khan's character is also, there's a lot of meta things also that happen. This is one of those things where Mahira herself went and she was doing well. Her role in Rais was cut down because of, all of those protests. So she suffered for it. Azaan, who's produced the film, done the music, also I'm guessing had a part to play in the writing of the story. I think is his, I might be wrong about that, but I feel very strongly that it is. It has elements of his mother's experience, his father's experience, Mahira's experience, and then Fawad's experience. A lot of, it feels almost like Samir Khan's character, what happens with him is very similar to what happened to Fawad in real life, is that, he went and he had so many like big films signed up. He was really like, it's just uncanny how much of an impact he still has. Like even today, his interviews, his name comes up in interviews with Bollywood filmmakers. There's so many people that still want to work with him. So there's this whole meta angle of, it reflecting the lives of people who are on the crew, and and then Marina Khan's character, like she says a lot of, like when she's dying and she's saying like don't tell my son and whatnot, and Javed Sheikh is about to say something and she's like, hush, ye mera scene hai, right? Um, and then when shuru mein, when he's brushing his teeth and he's really upset about what his father said to him, कि you know, come join my business, you know, क्या what star मार, क्या scripts. तो she says to him कि हमारी industry का क्या पता लगता है आज, you know, खुली है तो कल बंद है. And I mean, those words prove to be prophetic because अभी तो बंद ही है इतने उससे. So there's a lot of very meta things.
That is just like question mark.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be really cool अगर उसके अंदर meta चीज़ें होती, लेकिन then on a very sort of story level, other aside from everything, it still flowed together as a story, and it doesn't, right? It doesn't. You don't feel like when Sameer चला जाता है, मतलब, did you feel anything in that moment?
मैं कह रही हूँ वापस आके भी who do you think would have been better for the role of Sameer though? Because Bilal is very bland throughout. He's just like the same.
I have huge issues with the character. The thing is that actually maybe not too many of the things that the character does, but that one thing that he does that really propels the entire plot. Understandable, you thought like a Bollywood break is a big deal, but then you know, you don't just disappear and leave a voice note कि उसके shots ले लेना close up. Like, what does that even mean? You're abandoning two people इस तरह से, and they would have understood. मतलब, I also don't understand कि उसके बाद होता क्या है, because what happens in the film as you watch it, he takes some shots of her, interval आ जा नहीं, they discover that he's gone, और interval आता है, and then after the interval we see the Noori Hi Noori song. Again वो बहुत मेटा हो जाता है, तू बच के दिल लगा. और the funny thing is कि उस गाने के lyrics हैं ना तेरी ना मेरी ये साली बेवफा, और बाद में the director of that film says to Bilal Ashraf's character कि ये साली साला ये मत करो, इंडियन बाबू, ये पाकिस्तान है, यहाँ हम तुम्हारी अपनी फिल्म है.
Get it? क्यों कहा उसने?
So,
wasn't that offensive?
But what is that Noori film? Like, she does that song and then Usman Khalid Butt's character says कि वाह नूरी में कल की नूरी और आज की नूरी. So we get a sense कि अच्छा अब नूरी स्टार है अब तो, और वो
without him too.
वो फिल्म जो है वो अली काज़मी का कैरेक्टर Shan is the one who's directing that film, but it's not that same film जिसके shots लिए.
And at the same time जहाँ पे वो breakthrough वाला point दिखाने की कोशिश की जा रही है, जहाँ पे वो she's really upset with this casting guy, और उसके बाद वो कहती है कि मुझे सिफारिश भी कुछ नहीं चाहिए, and then she agrees. जब वो दिखा रहे हैं इनिशियली, जब मूवी कहते हैं कि वो he's saying कि तुम्हारे बगैर नहीं करेगा, और एक moment next moment she just agrees.
What is
where's
that?
The resistance?
And I mean, that moment was also so weird. Like, she goes to this sleazy casting guy and he hits on her, and then she gets mad at him because
out of nowhere. हाँ. और पहले थी बातें सुना के, उसके बाद लिटरली मतलब फॉरेन से उसके बाद नॉर्मल हो गई. और
वो उसको काफी बड़ा धोखा दे देता है उसके बाद. He actually, she never asked him for work, but he gives her a film, and then it turns out that it was a prank. She shows up and, you know, he's gone.
पाकिस्तानी मूवीज को लेकर खैर, what do you think? What's the future? या माहिरा को particularly, like what roles do you see her in?
You know, Mahira के लिए, this is what I think. I think Mahira, a lot of our actors, even Mehwish, I think a lot of us grew up watching sort of Bollywood films that were very glamorous. And, you know, उस वक्त films की tone एक अलग थी, like, you know, medium जो है entertainment, it was either television, terrestrial या dish, and then there was cinema. Now, like, screens have become ubiquitous, they're everywhere. And so I think that has affected the tone of storytelling. Like, we, you know, things aren't pitched as high. Lead actresses, characters aren't expected to be sort of that two-dimensional कि आप, you know, वो glamorous हैं और वो dramatic तरीके से, you know, unless that's like something that somehow makes sense in the realm of the story. A lot of our actresses, I feel, you know, are stuck in that sort of wanting to be that, और मौका मिला नहीं क्योंकि films यहाँ पे बन नहीं रही थी. So to them it's sort of like, oh, I want to do that, you know, Madhuri Dixit style, you know, glamorous song and dance and making cute faces and, you know, doing all of that adaएं and everything. And that's just, there's no space for that right now. I mean, good storytelling, you know, believable characters, realistic. If you can still, if you can have fun with it, that's great. But first, the first prerequisite is it has to be believable for me to get emotionally involved. और ऐसा नहीं है कि आप song and dance इतना ज़बरदस्त कर रहे हैं कि मैं उसके लिए I'm willing to go on that. What are you doing? You're frolicking around in Lok Virsa with, I mean, that sequence isn't really something that is worth, it doesn't even hold up to 90s Bollywood songs. Even those are, I think, better picturized and planned than this. So I would say that for any actor, I think characters that are first of all closer to their age, that's the basic thing. Like, I'm not being ageist about this at all, but if you are
you throwing shade at Humayun Saeed?
I'm throwing shade at anyone who is, you know, trying to play younger without all the necessary special effects and everything. Either you have the help of like prosthetics and, you know, de-aging technology and everything. It has to be believable. It's not my job to sort of like discount constantly कि आप लग ये रहे हैं वो. So Mahira is someone who I think she conveys a kind of confidence, a kind of class, and all of that. I think that, and this is something that I am very fond of her personally, but I think that as far as her acting goes, like I think there's a lot of room to grow. और मुझे लगता है कि because she puts herself out there, I think she also wants to push her boundaries. She does not, you know, you put a mustache on her, she does like really daring things. I think the problem is that she doesn't get enough opportunities as a star. You know, not enough directors put her to the grind. Someone like Sarmat Khusat will put people to the grind. Some of the bigger directors in Bollywood, they're bigger than stars, you know. So on a, you know, there's this Deepika Padukone, Sanjay Leela Bhansali, Ranveer Singh collaboration. They've done like what 2 or 3 films together, and I think the first film that they did together, there was a particular scene that she wasn't comfortable with, as in like she felt that she needed a lot of preparation and you know this and that, and he was like, this will be the first scene that we shoot. You know, so there's a lot to learn from great directors. Unfortunately, हमारे directors नए हैं, which means they might not be as experienced, but then also sometimes the stars are bigger than them on set. And you know how when you're a star, like literally, मतलब आप 10 घंटे के लिए paid and you show up, you know, then there's really no room for the director. At the end of the day, he has to get the shot in the can if he's scared of you. That can't really work. So I would say I would love to see Mahira Khan in the role of Tamina Durrani in My Feudal Lord. I would like to see something like that. Interesting. I think that, you know, I think that she needs to do things that push her as an actor, and I think she needs to stop trying to play 25-year-olds. Leave that
too youthful and
leave that to Hania, Amir, leave that
Alize, literally
to the younger lot. Let them, and you play
strong female.
You create, like, you know, क्या कहते हैं, space for characters that are your age. God, there isn't really, now that the film is so tiny, it just starts and then it ends right away. So there really isn't a lot to talk about. Are we done?
Yes, we sort of are, because I think we've just talked about आप वाली बात है कि it was just like so little there कि वो abruptly अगले पे जा रहा है, abruptly बस वो जा रहा है, फिर वो वापस आ रहा है. It's just like all over the place.
Indian babu.
But that's something that I found very awkward कि Mahira herself she went तो वो इतना उसको क्यों degrade करे ये चला गया है तो
मतलब वो आपको नजर नहीं आई ना कि इतनी इमोशनल इन्वॉल्वमेंट हुई थी.
that's the and at the same time I think कि वो जिस तरीके से his friend is reacting to him coming back वो ज़्यादा वो taunting लग रहा है than him being genuinely upset with him for leaving like this. तो it more looks like कि तो मतलब इंडिया में चलता है ये इधर नहीं चलता है. मुझे तो देख के ये लगा कि he's more upset.
What could be like a story that would maybe make sense is, let's say if Mahira was someone who with her dada or taya or whoever that character is, वो शौक के लिए थिएटर करती है और वो बहुत अच्छा करती है वो, लेकिन उसकी कोई एस्पिरेशंस ऐसी नहीं है. एंड देन और उसकी मंगनी भी हुई है और शी इज़ कम्प्लीटली फाइन लिविंग लाइक एन ऑर्डिनरी लाइफ, बट दैट्स समथिंग. और उसने बोला भी हुआ है कि शादी के बाद ऑब्वियसली तुम ये थिएटर वगैरह नहीं करोगी ये वो. एंड शी इज़ लाइक अच्छा आई सपोज फाइन ये वो. And then Bilal sees her on stage or whatever, he starts pursuing her कि no, you are it, you're the face that we're looking for our next film, at least karo. And then they develop this sort of like weird work romantic relationship, and he inspires that thing that's inside of her. He gives her the courage, and so she breaks off her engagement, she pisses off her parents, and she does everything and goes off on a limb, like maybe moves out to a city.
Maybe that would have embodied the kind of struggle they're trying to portray. Because of course it's not easy.
If सब कुछ छोड़ के आ जाती है साड़ी, रेड साड़ी पहन के, and then he shows up and he's like, listen, here's the deal. मुझे बॉलीवुड से बहुत अच्छी ऑफर आई है. It's संजय लीला भंसाली. I can't say no to this. And then she flips out and he leaves her just there. He's like, Shan will take care of you and we'll figure something out for you. And her parents are upset with her. She's got nowhere to go. And then she struggles and somehow gets somewhere. और फिर जब उसका दिन आता है तो so then maybe then we'd understand.
More believable as well. More story development there कि समझ आ रहा है क्या हो रहा है.
But ये हमारी films में होता है कि वो love story का वो नहीं होता. एक ये चीज़ है. दूसरा I think they get very sort of the filmmakers, the producers, they sort of project their own sort of dreams and whatnot, their own struggles, if you will, onto कि this is my story and I want to tell it. ठीक है, you might have had struggles. You're also very privileged because you're already making films in a country जहाँ पे मुश्किल से 12 फिल्में बनती हैं साल में. लेकिन वो relatable नहीं है हमारी वो story के कहानी है वो. And this is particularly, I think ये चीज़ इसलिए ज़्यादा prominent भी है because if you look at Superstar and then you look at Pare Hat Love, these are two films that released, I think, the same Eid, I think.
I don't know.
I think they released, simultaneously. And even in Pare Hat Love, Shehryar Munawwar's character is a guy who wants to make films. And Nadeem Beg is Maya Ali's, I don't know, Dada or Taya or some such thing, was a filmmaker and he has a script. And so it's sort of, it's like, अभी हमें कहानियाँ फिल्में बनाने का मौका मिला है और ऑलरेडी हमारे पास कहानी नहीं है कि हम जो कहानी बना रहे हैं, हमारी पहली या दूसरी फिल्म इज़ अबाउट एक लड़का है वो फिल्म बनाना चाहता है और फिर वो फिल्म बना लेता है. This is really, that's the film that your first film is going to be about. That just betrays the fact that you don't have any real struggles or you don't know how to artistically translate them into, storytelling properly. But I did enjoy sort of Mahira's boss bitch vibe in the second.
आपको अच्छी लग रहा था. Basically, he deserves it.
मतलब in the sense that her costume, her life, that scene where her mother is trying to obviously वहाँ से अब पैसा आ रहा है तो she has all the power in that dynamic, and I enjoyed that. But the thing is कि वो ज़्यादा enjoyable होता है अगर वो पहले part में भी वो realistically होती. हाँ, तो stark होता है. It would be interesting कि this girl who's more docile and who's sort of doesn't have control of her life, and that mother does drive her nuts trying to control her life, and then the tables flip. So then it would be even more enjoyable.
Exactly, that would have been more believable. And जो वो struggles portray करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं एक young aspiring actress की, that would have, और वो भी एक मतलब छोटे घर से आने वाली, you know, who is not financially privileged और उसको खास support नहीं है, तो that would have embodied it more.
Yeah.
अभी तो वो ज़्यादा easy लग रहा है and there's no more. लेकिन I do agree कि वो माहिरा का end पे वो, you know, in control है.
You know, and these are just rules of basic storytelling. कि अच्छा आपने बाद में कुछ करना है तो आप उसको पहले setup कैसे करेंगे so that it pays off. So it's just they wrote it in such a rush. I'm sure there's hundreds of screenwriters in Karachi alone who know this. They should have just had a conversation with someone ki read my script and give me some feedback, and someone would have improved this thing. The story just, I think, it becomes such an afterthought. In that I heard Mahira Khan talking about this film and said कि you know, जब Mahira Khan है तो एक वो क्या होता है, वो एक fit जो होता है, एक tantrum नहीं, like she has to, whether it's Bin Roy or whatever it is, she has to, you know, come in and you throw a little tantrum, Allah Mia, ऐसे क्यों हुआ, like वो. So it's almost as if they basically concocted a story out of like what Mahira Khan moments need to be in a Mahira Khan film. कि अच्छा, she will have a tantrum, and there's two characters that she plays. She plays that brat, you know, as she's played in Shahrazad before and whatnot, and Bin Roy as well. She's bratty, and you know that tantrum she has to throw, that's mandatory. I don't know why. Who wants to see that? एक बार हमने देख लिया, काफ़ी है. Now try other moments. And then she also plays like this starry-eyed girl with
Big thing.
and perfect hair who just sort of लेकिन हम सफ़र के अलावा, like, I never buy it that she actually likes I feel like her दिमाग का कैमरा is on herself कि मैं कैसे मुड़ रही हूँ और मैं हीरोइन जैसी लग रही हूँ. I mean, not, there isn't any real chemistry with the other person. So I think two reasons that I would दो चीज़ें जो मेरे लिए like were deal breakers on this film is the story and then the geography of, you know, where we are in a scene. We just randomly go into, like, you know, when he shows up at her apartment and he sees like she's sitting at her table eating, like where how do we get there? And then her house, you know, वो जो मोहल्ला है, which is Bhati Gate, is Lahore का एक बहुत पुराना neighborhood है. That is shot, some of it is shot in Karachi, some of it is shot in Peshawar. That I don't know, Film Nagar or Khayal Nagar, Khab Nagar, whatever. That space, like sometimes it's some set in Karachi, sometimes it's PNCA. So just the geography of things, it's based on all of these true stories that Pakistani actors have had these experiences in India. But then they haven't really been able to ground it properly in any sort of time and place. Both time and, you know, place are just sort of like liquid things that don't make sense in it. Time because मतलब एक का grandfather जो है वो दूसरे की माँ की age का है, although, you know, they're both eldest children. And place because you never understand कि कौन सी जगह जो है वो एक जगह उसको हाथ पकड़ के वो अपने घर रूफ पे ले जाता है और वहाँ पे वो देखते हैं तो वो, you know, आवाज़ आती है तो यूँ मुड़ के देखते हैं तो they supposedly can see, not ऊपर से, सामने से Aliza Shah bothering Hania Abir. Basically, Aliza Shah is Hania Abir. She's being annoying to her. So, how would you rate this film?
But Hania was still sort of वो जिस तरीके से उसने वो दिखाया, uninterested and super annoyed. I like that.
But still very, still humoring her properly and.
Exactly, Hania is. I enjoyed watching it there. How would I rate it? I don't know. I'll just give it because Mahira Khan, आपको मैंने पहले बताया, I'm a big Mahira Khan fangirl. So I just like looking at her. But other than that, I don't know, there was nothing that particularly attracted me there. Like nothing. It was just like, बस अब शुरू कर लिया तो पूरी कर ले वाला सी.
Did you enjoy her tantrum of?
Oh, no. और ऊपर से वो start जिस तरीके से था, that was like, I can watch Mahira Khan doing anything. लेकिन वो शुरू में वो जो हम अभी भी डिस्कस कर रहे थे, you know, that act and that very weird sort of dynamic, वो भी मुझसे भी नहीं देखा जा रहा, and that's a big statement.
You know what they said? I don't know if Mahira said this herself or Hum Film said this. They're like, you know, people have always asked, can Mahira Khan act? This film answers that question. And I was like, really? With a no? Is that...
It doesn't. Mahira Khan was just like, जैसे आपने पहले देखे हर जगह.
मतलब, unless the answer is no, I don't think that this film answers that. So what would you, what kind of roles would you want to see her in?
I've always seen Mahira like this, but I do agree with you कि उनकी एक वो certain in control vibe है, you know, you just like, she is the boss, she has strong presence, she's just like Mahira Khan. So it would be like fun to see her in stronger roles than this. अब वो जिस तरह आपने भी बिल्कुल सही बात की है कि you know just like leave ये 25 साल वाले characters to 25 साल year old.
Or if you're playing them, then have costume and all the departments really make
I
that
still
believable.
think that it still won't really work. So I think Mahira ki jo presence hai and how she has established herself already, I think there are better roles for her to
There are
play.
things you can do, like if some, you know, people with longer faces have a tendency, even when they're younger, to look older. So you got to make the face look smaller, give them a fringe or something, and you know, you can do. There's a lot that, you know, Hollywood does it. Like good makeup and costume know how to sort of age someone down. Or if there's technologies, if you must have, you know, someone play younger for the first part of the film. There's also, you know, time being liquid. There's no sense of कितना time में ये star बन गई और कितना time वो इंडिया में था. वो एक जगह शान उसे कहता है कि 2 साल मेरे ख्वाब करने. But I was like, is he talking about 2 years that went into the preparation of that film? Or so there's also not obvious कि ये कितने अरसे में. You know, normally an actor, it takes about 10 years of struggle in a particular industry for them to make it.
Clarity का तो issue था, अभी तक हमें ये नहीं पता आगा जान कौन थे. So.
There you go. There you go. Would you recommend? I think the film has serious, like, so bad it's good kind of potential. Thoda sa. I think some of the dialogues are so bad that they're almost iconic. Like, you know, when he hugs his mother from the back like this and she says chocolate like that, they're just really weird moments smattered throughout the film.
Mm-hmm. And also like Mahira प्यारी तो लग रही है. She looks stunning there. So yeah, if you are just someone like me, जिनको, you know, you just watch her. I just really like her fashion aesthetic. So she just looked stunning throughout. That was kind of आपके लिए एक negative चीज़ कि कोई difference नहीं था, but I think
नहीं, I think there was a difference. I liked second half Mahira.
I liked, मैंने हाँ बिल्कुल first तो बहुत ही rushed लग रहा.
वो तो, you know, we've seen her that, like, that kind of brown hair and like just it's very blasé, like it's been done. It doesn't seem realistic at all. I just remembered another weird moment is when the two of them get under a chadar or something, and matlab, who are you? Like, really, the mother isn't going to notice that you guys are doing this. I think this would startle the poor woman even more. So really weird, like silly and goofy moments there, and I think it has the potential of, you know, becoming sort of like.
But the way Aliza is portrayed to be, you know, ultimate Sameer Khan fangirl, it was funny to watch.
Yeah, definitely cute.
She's like youthful and very energetic. तो अच्छा लगता है देखकर.
Okay. What would you say to someone who wants to see this film? Or
देखनी तो चाहिए, देखने में क्या है? देखें और अपने comments हमें भी बताएं कि how do you feel about that?
Yes, watch the film. It's now available everywhere on the internet for free. Not that we endorse piracy, but it's not available anywhere. So what are you going to do? So watch it and let us know what you thought of the film and what is your favorite moment from the film. What is your favorite cringe moment from the film? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, come back to find out what Pakistani film from 2019 we'll be reviewing next. Until then, from me and
Amen.
it is
Goodbye.
See you later.